Hello, my name is Henry, and today I will be talking about the artifact The Harvest by Vincent van Gogh. First of all, let's analyze the painting. Going to the top right of the harvest, you can see farmers working with horses and wagons to collect and transport wheat from the fields next to a set of houses. Shifting to the left of the painting, there seems to be two ladders leaning on a storage unit with a straw roof. A small farmer behind it is working on the fields, with the city of Arles in the background far away. On the bottom, a farmer with black and white clothing is working on a garden surrounded by a fence next to the road. Next up, when closely observing the artifact's form, you can see that it contains thin brushstrokes with a vibrant light color palette to create a bright and detailed image of a farm in Arles. Vincent van Gogh uses a 3 foot by 2 foot 5 inch canvas to paint the harvest in mid-June of 1888. Some of the colors that Vincent van Gogh uses are bright yellow, white, and turquoise, which are used in a way to contrast each other rather than blending them for a more rigid and detailed texture. In addition to form, the harvest content illustrates a view, looking over the farmers using technology like wagons pulled by horses to collect and transport their yield, most likely wheat, that is annually harvested in the spring and summer. This illustration of peasant life through the details such as carts, ladders, and farmhouses in the painting convey the daily jobs of a peasant farmer, including harvesting, carting, and storing wheat to sell or make food. A viewer can also feel a sense of dryness and heat from the painting expressed by the vivid colors used in this artifact. The color yellow, especially, was Van Gogh's favorite color to use because it represents the happy life he strived for but couldn't get, as well as representing the sun in his art. Furthermore, Vincent van Gogh painted the harvest with a style called Post-Impressionism, which was an art movement that started in the 1880s. It is a style using thin strokes of a brush, vibrant colors, distorted lines and shapes to paint, in this case, a landscape. Post-Impressionism focuses more on symbolic meaning in a painting rather than the natural blending of colors used in Impressionism to please the viewer's eyes. He was inspired to paint with this French painting style by Pissarro, Georges Seurat, and Paul Gauguin, to name a few, during Van Gogh's quest to improve his skills in painting and making his own unique style of art. The medium of the harvest is oil on canvas. The oils Van Gogh used were poppy seed oil for white paints and linseed oil for cochineal and geranium lake paints, which were the bright colors used in the harvest like yellow and turquoise. These oils were commonly used in paints in the 19th century. For technique, Vincent van Gogh used the impasto method, which used a very thick application of oil paints with clearly visible brush strokes. He painted most of the harvest in one day. Van Gogh set up his canvas on an elevated platform to see the whole landscape, and after a long afternoon, Van Gogh would then bring the canvas back to his studio close by to make the final touches in his art piece. Next up, Vincent van Gogh first thought of painting the fields just outside of Arles when he went for one of his morning walks to enjoy the scenery. He also thought that people would criticize him for painting too fast and therefore pay little attention to it. The purpose of the painting, The Harvest, was to capture the beautiful sight of a farmer's life, since the harvest of crops is what sustains the farmers financially, as well as it being their livelihood. It is a result of their effort and time taking care of their fields throughout the whole year. One part of the legacy of the harvest is that it gave Vincent van Gogh an opportunity to explore and experiment with new things like vibrant colors and different art styles for his future art. The artwork was passed down to his brother Theo, and then to Theo's son, Vincent Willem, and was a kind of family heirloom that was hung in their apartment. In late 1949, the harvest was loaned out for a major Van Gogh exhibition in New York, where its popularity skyrocketed. The painting was loaned out a total of 101 times, only occasionally leaving Amsterdam, and is now located in the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam with a simple golden frame around it. One interesting story about Vincent van Gogh is about his left ear. Van Gogh had been suffering from depression all his life, and one way to combat it was through painting. After living in Paris for 2 years, Van Gogh moved to Arles because of its warm climate and bright colors found throughout it. Paul Gauguin came to Van Gogh's rented house, and after living there with him for 2 months, became good friends. They got into an intense argument resulting in Van Gogh pointing and chasing Gauguin with a knife or razor, and he suddenly stopped and cut off his own ear, which he gave to someone at a brothel and admitted himself to a mental hospital. These are my resources for this presentation. Overall, The Harvest by Vincent van Gogh is a beautiful piece that helped him become the artist he is today. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening.